somewhere over the rainbow. Hey, LGB patriots, Jerry Heron here, and I've got an idea for you to propose to you about doing a documentary based on the 1976-1977 documentary called Word Is Out. So you'd have to be very senior to remember it, and unfortunately, the trailer is not available readily online. But the 30 years after version is, and basically they're keeping it behind a paywall, rent or purchase. And I have purchased the remastered DVD version, and it's worth keeping. And this was a documentary just filmed, everyday homosexuals, no bisexuals, it's gay men and lesbians, and just about their coming out and living their lives and what have you. And by 1976, 1977, there was an awful lot of empowerment and also pressure to come out. Now, all these years later, I think I'd like to do one that's called Beyond the Rainbow. And it would be focusing on, I think, quite frankly, the type of membership in LGBT Patriots where we are literally beyond the rainbow. We're living lives off the Rainbow Plantation. And the Rainbow Plantation, to explain to people who don't kind of understand what I mean by that, the Rainbow Plantation is both the physical and the subjective or existential. It is the gay bars, the gay places that we, or the trans queers congregate, because it's no longer for LGB. And it also is a mentality. It's an indoctrination. It's a trans queer indoctrination. And in a lot of ways, it's alienated an awful lot of us. And, perhaps there's an awful lot of us that are just don't need it anymore, and we're getting on with our lives, and that's the way it is. But I think what I'd love to do is reach out and to a bunch of people, starting with obviously people that I have access to in Arizona, but see how many people would be interested in doing this. And I will put a link in to the trailer for Word Is Out. And if you rent the Word Is Out and see what, what it's like, and you would, perhaps you understand what I'm going for. And obviously that was filmed. I would be doing it with my iPhone. I do video recording and video editing, and I love doing it. And I think I have a penchant for it and a natural ability for it. So I think I could do a good job. I wanted to do this a few years ago, and then everything got so negative, and I thought, this isn't the time. But I think now, with so much that's going on, to be able to put out a documentary where we're showing an alternative to the stuff that we see online. And what we're seeing is basically the Democratic Party and the far left extremists exploiting what has now become the LGBTQAI+, trans, queer pedophiles. Okay, we're not part of that, but I think it would be very instructive for people to see in the genre of Word Is Out conversations of, what are you doing now? What are your perceptions of being associated with any of the LGB groups, whether it's conservative log cabins or being involved with gays or girls group, or quite frankly just getting on with your lives as a comparison to the bullshit that being fed. I found Word Is Out very, very empowering as a young 20-something gay man, seeing what other homosexuals looked like, and seeing, both gay men and lesbians, and it was, all ages, and, how they've sort of carved out their lives. And I think a lot of us have carved out lives away from the Rainbow Plantation. I mean, I have nothing to do with gay community. Most of my friends are straight, and I honestly don't feel a need to, and I think a lot of gay people still do. That their village, their community, their tribe was formed on the Rainbow Plantation, and we kind of, slow learners, we keep going back there thinking that we're going to find a reception, and we don't, because there's just it is so indoctrinated. There is a rainbow script, and if you deviate from the rainbow script, you're an apostate, and we will shun you and throw you out. So that's what I want to do, and I think, quite frankly, I would love people that are interested to reach out to me. I'd love you to compose a bunch of questions that you could be asked in this documentary, and I will, feed for you the exact setting for your iPhone. Obviously, I'm not going to fly around the U.S. to do this, and it may not only just be in the U.S. because LGBT Patriots is a non-partisan and non-country specific group. But so I would give you the settings for the iPhones. It would make it easier for editing, and it would be instructions about, make sure there's no dogs barking, you're not fiddling with teacups and all those sort of distracting things, and put together this, great documentary. I think it would be a really nice project to work on. I'd love to hear your feedback, and thank you.
Somewhere over the rainbow.